Well, hey everybody, how you been? I know it's been a while. For some of you that are new, hi, I'm Ron Neitzel, author of the Green Wizard's Guide. That, yeah, um, been a little busy. Uh, was going to do these peppers um, over a month ago, and I had reached out to a pepperhead to. Okay, no, that's not. It's not a derogatory thing. Um, it's somebody who grows peppers who loves eating them, and what they call themselves pepperheads. So I'm actually complimenting the gentleman. Because it turns out these things are actually really, 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 really good for your heart. Um, and there's debate as to which one is the better one. Okay. And you can look it up on WebMD. They've got their recommendations and this, that. And there's some valid capsaicin studies going on that talk about the heart. Um, so these pepperheads, they got it going on. Whether they realize it or not, got it going on. Now they get into some peppers that, oh my goodness. But anyhow, so I talked to this pepperhead, and some things have been going on. Distracted, busy, what have you. We could never get together. Uh, Whatever. I talked to another gardener the other day to see if see what they knew, to see if I should have this individual join me, and it just and the knowledge wasn't exactly there. Um, and I don't look. I don't profess to be a gardener. I've always told all of you that. I'm about the soil. Well, in this little episode on peppers, I'm gonna cover some things that you may not think I'm just a soil guy. Okay, and I don't mean to mislead anybody. Please don't misunderstand. Um, I'm about soil. I'm about the restoration of soil. I'm about fixing the soil. Okay, you want? I mean, come on. How many people from Africa and from New Zealand and from Australia need to come into this country to tell us how bad we have it here, how bad our soils are, because we're following a system that is toxifying everything. Okay, just nitrogen alone. Do you know about 60% of the nitrogen that the farmers are throwing down washes off, absorbs straight through the soil, and never gets to a plant? Now, when you start talking chemical nitrogens, that's all ending up in the water table. And when you start talking 5 to 10% per million parts per million, you're talking toxic levels for human beings. That's got to stop. It's got to stop. We got to get off this system. There's a better way. There's a cheaper way. You want a quick boost for your lawn, like I always say, use some stale beer. Have a party, get all the beer the next morning that's left over in cans and the bottles, pour it all in a bucket, let it go stale, spray it on your lawn. You want some natural nitrogen? Grow some clover next to your plants, and you'll get it directly out of the air. It's everywhere. We don't need to be using chemicals. We're toxifying ourselves, and then you wonder why people are so sick. I know I'm not going to go into this other. I know I'm not going to go into it. You know, I've been off. I've been busy. Um, I've had two viral videos on 85,000. I have a continuing 200,000 view video going. I stumbled into something and it's working, but it's got nothing to do with the book. And that's what I'm all about. I'm about the book. I'm about helping the planet. I'm about helping you take care of you right here, right now, today. Start making a difference in your yard. And peppers is one of the big dogs. Now, the only problem that we have with the pepper is that it is a dominant species in your garden. It needs to be at least a foot to a foot and a half away from any other pepper. Okay? Now, there's some tricks that I'm going to throw in here that'll make that pepper fill that entire void and still give you a ton of peppers, if not extras. Not extra peppers. One guy's reporting an average of 12 peppers coming off of each one of his plants. An average. Okay? So there's some tricks to peppers. Don't. And this is one of those. What do you guys call perennials or something? You can take this thing, strip it down before fall because it hates the cold. This plant hates the cold. You can repot this thing directly out of your garden, and you can overwinter it and bring it back out and be ahead of the game when the soils get warm again, and it'll fruit again. There's some tips and some tricks to protecting the fruit and protecting the harvest. And I watch some of these gardeners, and they're doing it, and they're not telling you, and I don't understand why. I thought they were here to share the information, and they're, I don't know. Maybe there is something about that issue where we hide things from each other to try and one up each other. And even out here on YouTube, guys are hiding these little tricks. Now, whether they realize it or not, that may just be something else. But peppers like 5 to 8 hours direct sunlight. Okay, not much more than that. And they're really not crazy about evening sunlight. Okay, so maybe that dictates where you plant this thing. It likes really warm soil though, so don't be putting this thing in a shaded area thinking it's going to be okay. It's going to suffer. And pepper's just one of them weird dogs. You would think that you could bury it deeper. Well, if you bury it deeper than its original seeding, it stunts it. It does. It'll hurt it. If you put it in soil that's not warm enough, you'll stunt it. It'll hurt it. It won't do as well. If it gets too much sunlight, it will stunt it. It will drop its flowers too early, and you won't get the peppers. Okay, this is a really picky plant. It really is. It loves it warm. And for you guys that want the super hots, you need heat. Okay. But let's think about it. There's 50,000 different types of peppers. And then they break them down in different categories as to their sweetness and their capsaicin and their heat and their this, and they break them all up. Then they break them into, other little groupings and what have you. And I wrote them down because, I like to stop and think and take notes and but whatever. This is another one of those plants, just like tomatoes, that needs calcium. Remember me talking about eggshells way back? Well, go back and find that video. I talk about eggshells. These things are really important to tomatoes. They're very important to any of these top-heavy type plants. And yeah, stake your peppers. Absolutely. You want a little bit higher yield. Top them things. About 1.5 feet, 6 to 8 leaves, and then top that thing. Because you don't want too much energy in its height. It's not going to help. It's not going to help you get peppers. You'll get more for less. Okay. Please avoid this NPK system. Seriously, it's not helping us at all. You want to fertilize this thing after you plant it, maybe every 2 weeks. And you want to keep this thing in a neem oil bath every 2 weeks. So I do every other. Okay. Now you're gonna ask me, well, what what to feed it. Well, it's in the Green Wizard's Guide. Okay, but it's basically a rock dust. Okay, with higher phosphates. Okay, when you go into your feed stores and you look, they're all going to be sold on NPK, NPK, NPK. First number, second number, third number. We're looking at the second number. Okay, or the last number. You want the lowest possible nitrogen from now on. Avoid that number. I know. Nitrogen makes everything green and feeds. It doesn't. It ends up in the water table. When you've only got a 40% chance of anything nitrogen-based getting into your plant, what's the point? Anyhow, when we're starting from seedlings, okay, you want a peroxide water bath on your seeds. And peppers are the same. It works great on tomatoes. You've seen that. But it really works well here on the peppers too. Okay. And the floating ones are bad because they've got oxygen in them. Get rid of them. The ones that sink, there's your winner. Soak that sucker. Give it time in that water. Then get it into the soil. And you never want it deeper than maybe twice the size of the seed. So 1/8 of an inch, half inch max. Okay, because this thing's going to ball out really, really fast. And there's this thing they call topping up. Okay, so when you get your seed trays, start with the small seed trays like you would for a tomato. And then what you want to do is you want to take that, you want to transplant it into a slightly bigger pot because you're creating a larger and larger root ball. Now remember, tomatoes, unlike peppers, doesn't have the hair follicles on it, meaning it's not reaching out to try and get anything more. So going deeper than what you have it originally is a bad idea. Don't do that. You want it right at the level of your repotting. Don't go any deeper. You're going to stunt the plant. These guys are picky. Okay. And there isn't a pepperhead out there that's going to tell me I'm wrong because they've seen it. They've seen how picky they are. Temperature, variables, water variables, all of it makes a difference. The only place we're going to argue is over this nitrogen deal. Okay, there are natural nitrogens that you can put in the soil. Okay, I talk about them extensively throughout the Green Wizard's Guide. We have them. You don't need the chemical nitrogens. Stop. Stop putting stuff in the water table that's going to kill us, okay, please. That's the easiest way to put it. All right. So what you might do if you want to jump ahead of the game in this deal is instead of just topping it up once, maybe, just maybe, top it up twice. Keep your moisture content high. Keep adding organic matter. That's key here. And also add your rock dust every time you top it up, because you're just going to put it in a bigger plant or put it in a bigger pot and add. Put it in a bigger pot and add. Same thing in the winter. You want to take it down. So you want to gently rinse off all your roots, and you're going to find out how big that sucker actually grew. Rinse off all your roots, repot that thing in another new organically rich pot, and take it indoors. Okay, again, it's not going to be fruiting, so it doesn't need the amount of water that it would if it was fruiting. Play the game. Keep it warm. Keep it in the sun. Not hot, but warm. Keep it in the sun. And that thing will continue to grow all winter long. And then you're going to end up ahead of the game when comes next year. Okay? But again, this goes back to your soil conditions. You don't want to be, you want to, see, peppers is the one variable. It's the one variable. It likes it hot. It likes it sandy. It likes this. It likes a lot of worms, basically. It likes a rototilled, an earthbound rototilled soil so that it can spread out its roots. Now, this is where we switch up a bit. I'm not a gardener, okay? But when you start utilizing the Green Wizard's Guide and you start utilizing that system, your watering cuts back on all planes. You're also going to find out that your bricks measurement on the leaves for every plant you grow this way is going to be higher than you've ever seen before. Brix is an amount of sugar within the plant that is contributing to the plant's ability to grow and grow fruits. Peppers have a sweetness to them, not the ones at the grocery store, but the ones you grow with the Green Wizard's Guide. And as that gets sweeter, you know the energies are going correctly into the soils and the development of the soils. Again, peppers is one of those very, very specific plants that's going to be asking a lot of the organic matter in the soil to bring back what it needs. I don't need to beat on that because I want to sell the book, okay? But if you want peppers, trust me, this is the direction to go. Plant clovers around it as much as you want and let the clover do its thing, because it's going to be depositing little crystals of nitrogen all over the top of the bed. And it's not going to interfere with the pepper roots. Okay? Grow some other things in there around it. Carrots, maybe. Okay? The secret here is that 8-hour cutoff and getting rid of that evening sunlight. Too many hours burns the fruit. It also stunts the plant. Well, what do we know that grows over 2 feet tall that can shield the other plants? Well, what's one of the biggest ones I like? Well, that's the sunflower. Hint, hint, hint. Okay, corn. Hint, hint, hint. And there's a few others. But you want them on the west side of your garden to shade. Get it? To shade your pepper side. You want your peppers in the front of the garden on the more southern side, but you don't want them getting evening sun. You don't want the fruits burned. You don't want the and there's a bunch of different things that go into this. Okay, but they mainly put it off on it's that evening sunlight. It's that afternoon. 1, 2, 3 o'clock starts to burn these things. It's too many hours in the sunlight. Okay. Now, yes, if you want to do specifically peppers, specifically with a couple of other things planted in with it, just put up a wall or lattice work or something to cause it to shade over in the evenings, so that as the sun hits that certain point, all of a sudden the shade starts to grow across your garden. Won't hurt the rest of the plants that are in there with it, because you're chasing peppers anyhow, right? That's the direction to head. Now, again, if I'd have had a pepperhead here, I'd be bouncing some other questions off him, because there's some other there's some other things I'd like to know. There's a wilting, and then there's a couple of very specific bugs that get inside the leaves, and there's some miniature white moths that attack these things and what have you. Again, all of this goes back to what I've said in the past, and that's paying attention to your soil conditions. If the soil's right and everything is working right, you have healthy plants that are going to naturally defend against these bugs. You don't expect all of you to get that right off the bat. Neem oil, okay? That's your defense. Don't worry about anything else. Neem oil. Get some ladybugs, or what's that other praying mantis? Obviously, they all want to go to their certain hemispheres and what have you. So you spend a lot of money, you get these bugs in, they don't stay in your beds, they leave. There's pluses and minuses. Some of these bugs also bring in birds, and that causes another problem. So again, neem oil when it comes to peppers. Um, oh, did I cover what I wanted to cover? Worried about the nitrogen. Top that sucker. 1.5 feet. That'd be about the limit. Tomato cages would be great. You know, the really thin, cheap ones that you get at, you know, the dollar stores or what have you, they'd be perfect for this. You know, all of this goes back to our nutrition and the nutritional values. You know, in our country here in the United States, we spend twice as much as any other country on our health and our health care. Yet we rank number 17 in the world. We're not the healthiest people. Why? It's our nutrition. Doctors aren't being taught nutrition. But you're going to find that the more you garden and the healthier your garden is and the healthier your soil is. When you pick up a handful of soil and you smell it, you should smell something. Okay? That's Mother Nature working. And you can put life forms on the end of a pin, and there are thousands of them. So a handful of soil should have a smell. If it doesn't, you're doing something wrong. There's not enough organic matter. You're hurting yourself. Now, we talked about rototilling in the past, and because of the peppers, I might yield here a little bit because it loves organic matter. It loves soft soil. So for those of you that are thinking, you know, I don't want to do a whole lot of composting, but I need to start doing some composting within the bed. Okay, let's rototill this bed. Let's bring in some worms and let's do bucket composting, I'm going to call it, where you dig a hole in a certain area and you just start putting kitchen scraps in that one hole only. And then you put like a paint lid type thing right over top of that to just protect it from sunlight and let that heat concentrate in there. The organic matter that I keep trying to trump out to everybody will find its way to the organic matter and bring out what it needs. Now, if you want to help that along, nitrogen, coffee grounds. Okay, you want to call in more worms, a hint of ammonia, right in that little bucket compost pile inside your garden. Move it every year, okay? But peppers will reach out and go to that spot and bring back what it needs. Doesn't matter how far away it is. You know, scientists have been testing acres and acres and acres, and what they're finding is when they spray one side of a farm a couple of acres away and start moving across the field, the far side of the field instantly starts to have a reaction. These plants talk to each other. There's something going on there. You know, I don't want to say the movie Avatar is 1,000% correct, but they're testing this and they're seeing it true that when plants on the far side get sprayed with something, the opposite side of the farm, acres away, many thousands of feet away, are showing a reaction. Okay? Keep that in mind. Treat your garden the same way you treat your grass because they communicate with each other. A lot of people sit back and go, oh my God, dude, you're going to be talking about a lot of money. No, I'm not. The same amount of stuff that I put in my garden, I put in my yard. I treat them exactly the same. I just put more scrap and more organic matter into my gardens because of the leaves and the twigs and the organic materials that I bring out of my kitchen. All of that stuff goes in there. And let me tell you, wait until you see my garlic this year. They're beautiful. They're beautiful and they're huge, and they're going to be gigantic softballs again this year. They look incredible. I've still got a couple of months to go, a month and a half. All right. And they're already gigantic. So I know I'm in trouble. I'm going to be giving a lot of garlic away. It is what it is. Anyhow, so I hope I covered everything. If I've missed anything, please comment below. If you haven't caught those other 2 viral videos, maybe you need to know where I'm at. Maybe you need to know what's going on, because, hey, I'm busy. I got things going on. I'm trying to sell this book and get it out, get the word out, and share these videos, and get new friends and what have you. So bear with me as I walk you through this. I don't know what to use as our next topic, so I'm looking for suggestions. What do you guys want to know? What do you guys want to hear? What do you guys want to understand? I'm going into my 8th cut. I think 8th cut of my grass this year. I can't keep up with it. It's like every other day. It is what it is. When you treat the soil right, it'll treat you right. You want nutrition? You want heart healthy? Take care of your soils. The Green Wizard Guide can tell you exactly how, in the simplest way you've ever thought imaginable. If Mr. Crayon can get it, anybody can. All right, everybody. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you stopping by. Like I said, come find me. We'll talk to you, everybody. You have a great day.